or talking about how much sex Rusev wanted and all that stuff. But
sex addict Rusev, yeah.
Right. But Vince is saying they're one of the few programs out there that's truly
that's wholesome entertainment, Raj. Wholesome entertainment.
Right.
Natural.
And he's also saying NXT is competing and doing with AEW, doing extremely well. And while we're talking about that, let me just bring up the NXT AEW ratings. AEW winning big. Sorry, 1 second. Real quick, while I get that, what are your thoughts on Vince's comments?
No, I think it hasn't changed what they're doing necessarily as far as what WWE does.
Right.
But it did change. Like, they used NXT to go over on the WWE roster to give. We talked about that and called it exactly as what they did. They took NXT and brought it up and tried to show them that they were the equivalent of Raw and SmackDown in a very quick angle, which I thought lowered everybody by doing that, taking the developmental and doing that quickly it was just a short-term thing, just to kind of show, and hey, this brand is our third brand, it's not our developmental brand. And I get it, that's what they felt they had to do. And then to try to combat AEW and make it look like it's not the developmental talent, and they haven't leagued, but they haven't been able to match them. I mean, the ratings are not that far apart still. This could still swing in any way over time. But I think AEW just having that large crowd and everything is a huge advantage to them with everything, and as they continue to build stars. But I think WWE, Vince, I don't think it's changed what they're doing on the main roster that much at this point in time. Not to say that it won't, though, in the future.
Yeah, and to that point, the numbers this week, Dynamite drew 928,000 viewers, topping the 770,000 viewers garnered by NXT by 21%. Again, Wrestling Inc. You can get all the demos and everything, but basically AEW whipped NXT again in that 18-49 demo by 64%. So a clean sweep this year so far. AEW winning, by hundreds of thousands of viewers, usually every week. The one good thing for NXT was the 770,000 viewers was their best number so far this year. It's got to be a little disappointing because they advertised it on Raw. Charlotte Flair was going to be there. So, I think we're seeing it settle.
Absolutely, and AEW has the advantage right now, and I think too. It doesn't matter. We've seen it. What they've done. They've lowered even the people they've used as main stars on the shows. The value, the individual brand drawing power is not there. It's not, and it's because of the way they've booked things for so long, and where it's everyone's kind of. Charlotte Flair's no different than if I don't know who you want to plug in anybody. There's really not that big of a spark in it, and it's a weird thing. It's not the talent's fault. It's from the booking and things not being consistent over a long period of time. So, and the brands of just everything. I look forward to seeing what happens going on with it, and it's good, healthy competition. I hope both shows continue to rise because it's good business for everyone.
Absolutely. Are you surprised that NXT hasn't changed more? That they haven't done more to, give it a bigger feel, because it has been losing almost every week.
I don't think they want to show that hand yet. I don't think they want to acknowledge that. I think they're looking at it as let's keep. Internally, there's no doubt that they are having meetings on this, trying to figure out what they need to do to consistently beat AEW in the ratings. I think, though, that is a last resort, having to start going that route and going to different arenas. And I think it was the developmental territory down there with NXT. I think it's very convenient for them to be at Full Sail with their schedule. And when they have to then all of a sudden, if they have to start changing things, I think contracts have to change. And I think it's a pain in the ass if they go that route. So I think internally they're looking at how can we just improve this with what it is right now, and maybe they have like a year timeline. In a year, if nothing has changed and the numbers keep getting further and further apart, then they go, okay, what do we have to do now to maybe, and maybe it too late, then I don't know. But yeah, it definitely doesn't help them being in that arena, man. It's for the hardcore people that like it, they like it, and I get it. But you're talking about a television audience, and it's a little different.
Yeah, and to your point, it's probably better for them to seem like they're not desperate and trying everything and losing, as opposed to throwing everything out and then losing.
And that's why they're bringing the talent, like throwing Charlotte. They're testing things out right now.
Right.
And they're seeing if anything, if they sent CM Punk to NXT one week, all of a sudden it triggered a huge boost, they'd be like, okay, we're going to do something with this consistently. If that's going to, you know what I mean? They're not saying Punk, but they're testing things out, I feel like, to see who could do what and if they could beat them under their current circumstances, which they haven't been able to consistently yet. So,
yeah. More kind of negative ratings news for WWE. Backstage only did 97,000 viewers this past week, one of their lowest numbers yet. And then Raw, the flagship show, did 2.17 million viewers, and this is just 1 week away from the post-Rumble episode, so it was down 10%. One of the worst numbers that they've done during, I think it is the lowest number that they've done from the Rumble to WrestleMania season.
And no football either.
No real competition. I mean, you had the Iowa caucuses, but you're always going to have something.
There's a lot. Yeah, I feel like we always try to justify it. There was no NFL football this week, and it was one of the worst numbers in the history of ratings for WWE. Not great.
For the season, it's the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, during WrestleMania season, which this has just been going on for a long time. And again, they do. Business-wise, they're making more money than ever. We saw on those. I think they did close to $1 billion this year, or for last year.
Yeah, I mean they will be doing $1 billion this year. But I mean that TV money, that's why when people say ratings aren't important, well, all their money is coming from TV now.
If those ratings keep going down, that money's not going to be consistently there when the next go round comes. And yeah, I think they have to definitely. I tell you, an AEW existing is a great thing. And maybe it's going to take Vince leaving and selling, and that's going to be ultimately when a big company takes over and they just want to make as much money as possible. And then we're going to see another boom in wrestling again when they allow megastars to be megastars. And I think it might take Vince leaving because he's holding on. It seems like he makes the money. And I think there's such a control thing with him at this point where he doesn't want anyone getting too big. I don't know. This is just me, Raj. I keep getting instinctually. I internally feel like, I feel like they're close to something eventually happening with Vince. With the XFL coming around, I don't see him in power. Like, it's going to happen eventually. He has to leave. He's going to die. I say that seriously, and everyone
I know what you mean.
He's going to die in Gorilla. And I mean, he's no spring chicken. He's done a shit ton of steroids his whole life. There ain't no way his heart is as good as his mother's that I met when his mom was 96 or whatever. And my son's going to live for a long time. Well, I don't think he's going to live as long as you. And with all due respect, and I say that kindly towards the people in the family, jokingly in a way. There has to come a point where he's done everything he can. Let someone else take over.
Yeah, so you look at Vince over the past 10 years, he's looked like he's age 30.
Yeah.
But the way he has structured everything is that he can't be taken out of power unless he, decides to step down. That's the co-presidents were removed. He has the majority voting shares. But I agree with you. At some point, these ratings, again, when people say, well, people are consuming TV and everything different, that is true, but it's not like it's just TV ratings that are falling. It's live event. It's every form of consumer spending, people spending money on the product as opposed to TV rights. So,
and I'm going to say this because I've been saying it from day one, and I'm seeing now people are actually saying this, and you can go back and listen years back. I said, someone else takes over this company, they're going to find out. We're all going to see it. They're going to go, holy shit! This company could have been making $5 billion a year instead of $1 billion a year. I'm telling. There's based off Vince holding people down and not letting talents be the true stars. Another company's going to take over, and it's not going to be a hard fix. Everything else is in place. All you got to do is have consistent booking to make megastars. We don't tune in to watch the fake fighting. You want to see larger-than-life people fake fighting and doing things in their personalities and characters. And I really think, and not $5 billion to $1 billion is obviously a huge stretch, but you're going to see if Disney or Fox takes over, I really truly believe you're going to see another boom in wrestling, because they're going to look at it from a business standpoint, and they're not going to have the ego and the things involved in the personal. Vince, with his whole career and feeling burned or attacked by superstars and all the games and the shitty politics that he has created in his little 48 Laws of Power bubble, this other company is going to come in, and I really think there's going to be a lot more options when it happens, and they're going to have a different business model than Vince, and they're going to be like, well, we can make a lot more money than this guy was even showing you can make with it. So
yeah.
Hey guys, it's the big guy Ryback, and I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Go ahead and punch that like, smash that subscribe button, and check out